Hi, my name is Nana Sirbo. I run an audio tech company called Serious Heat Factory, and today I'll be talking to you about our very first product known as Studio. Studio is basically Africa's very first global booking platform for creative workspaces. So think of a platform that allows you to book a creative workspace as simply as booking an Uber or as simply as booking an Airbnb. So that's what we're trying to do. Currently, there's no platform that allows creatives to do this. So we have first mover advantage in Africa, and with what we're trying to do, we minimize the end-to-end process and allow you to book a studio in less than 1 minute. The problem here is creatives struggle with booking creative workspaces. The problem here is that it's based off of who you know and what you have access to in terms of creative workspace. And often creatives are faced with inconsistent pricing, an inefficient process, and stressful communication. We're trying to bridge that gap. The longer term, what we're trying to do is to close the gap in data fragmentation within Africa, especially within the creative ecosystem. We're trying to use discovery, booking, flexibility, as well as our verification platform to help investors understand where and how to invest within the creative economy. So in a nutshell, that's what Studio does.
So let me understand, what are your current revenue streams for Studio?
So Studio, the revenue streams for Studio currently is on MVP. We're in an MVP stage. The very first commission or revenue model is a 10% commission. And then, like I mentioned, data as a service, where we utilize the usage from the platform to give insights to investors who believe in the potential of the creative economy and want to invest strategically into the economy. Besides that, we do brand partnerships, and then we also offer B2B integrations as well. One thing we're also considering is search pricing as a revenue model for the business.
Why search pricing?
Well, just like Uber, when it first started out, search pricing wasn't something that they utilized. But as demand for the platform, I beg your pardon, increased, search pricing became something that Uber.
But there's no current demand for your platform, so how are you utilizing that as a strategy?
This is a forecasted revenue projection avenue that we're looking to consider once we eventually
And in the
scale
event that we
platform.
don't reach that point, how do you add that as a potential revenue stream? Why is that now your early strategy?
It's not our early strategy. I'm just giving you context in terms of what we have access to now, which is the commission, data as a service, and then long term, what we want to eventually implement is search pricing and B2B integrations as well. So it's a long-term plan. If we never reach there, we're still going to make money to be able to give you back your investment.
Now you mentioned investors.
Yes.
So what are the deals with investors? So what do they benefit? What's their value added at your end? How are you actually generating any revenue from them?
Okay, I'll give a typical example. In recent times, we helped an artist who was going for a record label deal, basically with invoices of all the services that we had generated for him from our audio tech company. And that showed the investors that he, as an individual, has invested X amount into his career. And therefore, with their investment, he's going to be able to allocate funds appropriately. That just showed us that there is the demand for the data, because long term, the client was able to make a 6-figure record label deal. And that showed us that there is demand and potential for us to be able to utilize that.
What KPIs are you tracking on the data?
Currently, the KPIs we're tracking is usage of the platform in terms of equipment, the kind of studios that creators are looking for to book, as well as the areas that have a lot of bookings. Think of Studio basically as starting out with music studios and then scaling across.
So if those indicators that you're tracing, how does that connect to actual value?
Okay, it connects to actual value in this simple way. As an investor or as a brand, let me put as a brand, such as Audio Technica, you want to expand into Africa. You want to understand how many creators or how many studios actually use Audio Technica, which is they make headphones, they make microphones, so many different products. By the data that we're going to provide to you as Audio Technica, it gives you a better understanding of what the percentage use is, and it allows you to know when and how to invest into Africa.
When and how to invest into Africa.
Exactly.
So you mentioned you have first mover advantage, but how do you
Yes.
maintain competitive advantage?
Okay, so it's simple. We've been in the industry for more than 10 years. We understand the language. Right now is the time for a platform like this to scale, mainly because the creative economy is booming. UNESCO says that in last year, just last year, 2.3 trillion was generated within the creative economy.
What percentage are you targeting?
We're targeting just 1% of a 570 market, which is basically what's generated from film, music, and audio.
How much can you realistically capture? What's your segmented?
Okay, realistically, we believe that 1% is more than achievable. That's just a humble goal. But with your investment, we can even achieve much more than that within a shorter period of time, because with the strategic plan that we have set in place, is to launch in Africa first. So we're targeting 5 key cities: Accra, Nigeria, South Africa, Johannesburg, and then we're also looking at Kinshasa, and then we're looking at one other city in Africa. We're not yet sure about it yet. We want to do more research, and based on user data, we confirm the 5th country.
What's your ask of the deal room?
We're asking basically for a strategic investment, not just investment. The ask is a $50,000 pre-seed fund, targeting more angel investment and grants to be able to launch the MVP and test out the different business revenue models. Now, just to give you a bit more context, before we actually even thought of an idea, we ran a test period with our audio tech company where we provided an all-inclusive package allowing creatives to record, mix, and master. We ended up generating close to 50,000 Ghana cedis in less than 1 month. And out of that 50,000 Ghana cedis, we have 35,000 of that, which was profit. Now, we ended up working with 5 studios and ended up helping 16 creatives create a total of 36 songs during this period. Now, this just tells us that the problem isn't really about demand, it's about access to something that creatives can trust and something that studio owners of creative workspaces can utilize and manage all their bookings in one place and literally make more money from their idle time. So this is something that has potential. This was something that was done without even any plan. It just showed us that there's demand, and the problem really isn't with the demand.
How have you validated product market fit?
Product market fit, like I said, we did the test run. This test run was not necessarily based on our revenue model, which is the 10% commission. So the margins were much wider, right? We didn't control pricing, we were just acting as middlemen, connecting creatives who needed studio access, and then also integrating our service, which is the mixing and mastering aspect of it. So we did that, and that's how much money we were able to generate over a 1-month period. So you can only imagine how much we can generate with the funding that we're asking for.
So looking at your particular sales funnel, towards the end, how do you guarantee retention? What's your strategy around that?
Okay, so retention, basically, there's an aspect of our platform that we're targeting, we're using to keep people on the platform. First, from the creator side, a verification platform. So think like Uber. Once you finish your ride, you have to give a rating, a review system, I beg your pardon. So you review the studio creative workspace, and just like the creative workspace owner, you also review the artist. Over a period of time, building that track record of being a 5-star rated artist on Studio or being a 5-star rated co-working space on Studio, you're able to, it makes it difficult for you to leave the platform and go somewhere else to start all over again. Your cost is high. As a talent, it also puts you in a position where you are available for a category of our business, which is basically positioning artists to a certain point for investment. So if you have if you have a lot of ratings, it puts you in a better position overall. Okay, so you want to build your
work with me here. What risks have you identified in your venture? And then how have you mitigated that?
Okay, so the risk we've identified potentially right now is with scaling. So what we're trying to mitigate or solve around that is by making sure that our plan for
risk within your company in the platform.
Scaling.
No. That's external, right? So we understand that that's a challenge, but risk within your company. So if I were to invest right now, what's a risk that possibly exists that you have plans to mitigate? So not scale, but let me talk about specifically with your company, the platform, how everything works.
Right. So the main problem would be data fragmentation. Even as we speak now, there's limited data about the market, what's working within the market, which companies are successful within the market. So this is something that may serve as a risk, but being within the industry for more than a decade, we do understand where to go, how to go, and where to be able to execute. We have a team of mentors who have a plethora of knowledge along the creative ecosystem, and with their guidance, we believe that your investment is safe in our hands.
Okay. Why would any creative trust you and no other platform?
I'm a creative, I've lived the problem. I can communicate to them enough to get their buy-on.
You sure about that?
100%.
Convince me right now. I'm a creative.
When was the last time you recorded?
2 days ago.
How much did you record for?
300,000.
Boy, that's too much. 300,000 just to record?
Yeah.
How many hours was it?
2.
2 hours for 300,000? I can get you a studio that can get you $250 per hour, and I'll mix and master your song for free. Are you interested?
Maybe.
Okay, I'll help you with distribution as well. I have a contact at Empower. They have this program where they're trying to test out, a lot of independent artists, so I can connect you in the right room, depending on how good your song is. I'm not sure. Well, you just have to prove to me how good your song is, and I may be able to help you.
I'm sorry, you threw me off, Joey. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I didn't buy it.
You didn't buy it?
No.
Okay. Well, the good thing about this is that it gives me a better opportunity to be able to review what my sales strategy is and to be able to understand what your particular need would be in this particular situation. So it's a good eye-opener for me to go back, sit down, and then be able to re-strategize.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Good stuff.